Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, the trial. Amber Heard. What is she? Part 13. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We have sifted through a substantial body of evidence provided from a variety of different sources over an elongated period of time to make an assessment as to what Amber Heard is. As you know, I categorize individuals into narcissists, narcissistic people, normals, and empaths. It can, of course, be the case that a categorization of somebody would mean, for instance, if they were narcissistic, finding an alternative personality disorder alongside that. My expertise, of course, lies within narcissism. I have an understanding in relation to other personality disorders, but my expertise lies with narcissism and psychopathy. I, using this expertise, carefully analyse the evidence, looking for a variety of indicators to ensure that they get over an evidential standard to then amass within sufficient weight within a particular categories to then make the determination as to whether that person is one of the four categories that I've just mentioned. In some instances, the methodology is such that the person doesn't get over the evidential threshold to be found to belong to particular categories, and instead evidences that they have evidence that puts them in an alternative category. So, for instance, we might look at the determination of empathy and find that the individual demonstrates emotional empathy on repeated occasions, and therefore that precludes certain findings. I'm now going to take you through in detail with what we have found through the analysis of all the body of evidence about Amber Heard, both arising from the trial and evidence elsewhere, because remember, it's not just what Johnny Depp has to say about her that matters, but what other people say about her. That provides us with the spread of evidence which increases credibility, and also, just as importantly, to ensure that it is provided over a period of time. Before I tell you what she is, and you'll have your own views, feel free to state in the comments what you think she actually is, and then you can see whether you're correct. Also, I would invite you to show super thanks by making a donation, gifting an amount, to demonstrate your thanks for the level of work that is put into this. Hours upon hours of research, watching video footage, reviewing articles, going to source documents is undertaken, and then it's distilled and provided to you to enable you to make sense of what this person is, to improve your own knowledge of people, their behaviours, and also to enable you to spot those behaviours. So your support in that respect is appreciated. You get a huge body of work for free, and therefore throwing a few shekels in the way of the ultra to ease his parched throat with some Dirt's champagne is the least you can do. With that all said, now let's find out. What is Amber Heard? Amber Heard shows significant evidence of a sense of entitlement. She is, at times, a freeloader, living a life of luxury that is funded by other people, principally, as we've learned, Johnny Depp. Given the number of sexual encounters that she's had, it's clear that she's somebody that would have a swift sexual encounter with people, that the number of intimate partners supports that. She is somebody that orders people around, telling them what they should do, where they should be, and how they should behave. She requires an immediate response to things. She expects people to wait on her hand and foot. She allows other people to pay for her. She engages in the shelving dynamic, picking people up and putting them down as she sees fit. She's self-absorbed. One only has to examine, for instance, the way that she behaved when she was eating during the deposition, or to watch her face when she's listening to the evidence. She lacks emotional empathy. This has been demonstrated by the commission of infidelity and principally the manipulative behaviours that she engages in. There is overwhelming evidence of a lack of accountability. She tells lies. She drinks and drinks to excess, which is an abrogation of accountability. She's a drug taker, which is an abrogation of accountability. She has, in essence, shirked work, although she is industrious with a number of films that she has engaged in. There have been instances, of course, where she hasn't turned up, or has turned up drunk, showing a rather laissez-faire attitude, which supports a lack of accountability. She doesn't give certain definitions certain definition to certain relationships. What she does is she just keeps them in a fluid manner, which creates uncertainty. She's not somebody who provides emotional support on a habitual and sustained basis. She lacks punctuality, witness the evidence of turning up late on set. There's no repayment. We've seen the situation with the donated monies, which she didn't pay. She doesn't stick to arrangements that have been formulated. She's not prone to issue apologies or to ever admit that she's at fault. There's clear evidence of grandiosity. She engages in showmanship. This is demonstrated through the social media account that she operates, the way that she dresses, the way that she conducts herself, always drawing attention to herself. She thinks she's better than other people. That's demonstrated by the way that she talks to individuals and looking at the way that she behaves in footage when she's being interviewed, for instance. She uses flowery language. She's vain and she dominates conversation. Think about what the therapist said about the joint therapy sessions. There's clear evidence of haughty behaviours. She's rude. She is dismissive. She holds court. She's arrogant, obnoxious, and has a reputation as being difficult. This has been repeatedly demonstrated in the evidence provided by people and, of course, the telephone recordings that have occurred. There is overwhelming evidence of manipulative behaviour, which includes the following: flattery, the telling of lies, future faking, triangulation with object, triangulation with person, present silent treatment, absent silent treatment, physical violence, pity play, smearing, promised gain, false compassion, invalidation, belittlement, withdrawal, denial, guilt, provocation, projection, blame shifting, use of threat, control through clothing. Think about the boots incident. And the comments about style. Insult, use of fury, destruction of property, revision of history. Shouting, alienation, argumentativeness, bullying, intimidation, deflection, false accusation, cross-examination, accusations out of nowhere, vagueness, finding fault, hijacking conversation, circular conversations, and bringing up the past. There are substantial boundary recognition issues. There's the incessant messaging of people, her flirtatious behaviours, her prying nature, her sexual fluidity, asset appropriation. What's yours is mine. She talks over people, and she interrupts. Finally, she shows overwhelming aspects of the narcissistic dynamic, which includes the monopolization of time, mirroring, familial discord, facade management, treating others as an extension of self, character trait acquisition, black and white thinking, the exhibition of the need to assert control, the exhibition of a response to a perceived threat to that control, hypocrisy, the exhibition of envy, objectification, compartmentalization, paranoia, preventative hoovering, conducting an affair, use of a virtual fuel matrix, delusion, the rejection of intimacy, having many intimate relationships. Abusive ex syndrome, what she's accusing Depp of essentially now. Competitiveness, moral guardianship, shelving, spoils occasions, and superficiality. Accordingly, as a consequence of there being significant evidence of a sense of entitlement, a lack of emotional empathy, overwhelming evidence of a lack of accountability, clear evidence of grandiosity, clear evidence of haughty behaviours, overwhelming evidence of manipulative behaviour, poor boundary recognition, and overwhelming aspects of the narcissistic dynamic, Amber Heard is a narcissist. She is someone with narcissistic personality disorder. It next falls to be discovered what is her school and cadre now that we have established that she is a narcissist. Join me in that further part.